Jeff, would you just state your name for the record and you live in
Certainly.
Monroeville?
Jeffrey Queter.
Did you sign in, sir?
I did.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Sure. Thanks for having us. I'm here with several members of the Monroeville Soccer Club, Monroeville group. I'm going to let Caleb Kuiper take over, but this is basically about the grounds and communication between the borough and the soccer club about the grounds.
Please sign in on the sheet and then state your name for the record as well as where you live, Monroeville. You don't have to give your address.
Okay. As Jeff said, my name is Caleb Kuiper. I am from Monroeville and board member on the Monroeville Soccer Club. As a new member this year, I've noticed the field conditions, and I think they're deteriorating. And we've worked with Parks and Rec a little bit, but I think there's been some miscommunications and lack of follow-through. And I have some pictures here. If
You can put them on the screen if you'd like.
On the X.
in a little background, it's not going to show up real good on. Yeah, there it is. A little background on these pictures. This is just one of the issues that we're dealing with for the soccer club. Is we're actually investing money into Parks and Rec so they can fertilize and seed our fields. And we are not allowed to apparently lift a rake to help them out. And this picture is showing that we invested, I think, over $4,000 in seed and fertilizer this year. We invested in our own stakes and ribbons to cord off the goal mounts that get worn out. And there was an initial fertilizing and seeding. They waited approximately 3 months, and the grass looked great in these areas throughout the, if you're familiar, U6, U8, and U10 soccer fields. And unbeknownst to, I believe, most of us or any of us, they pulled the stakes up and scalped the grass that had been growing in those cordoned off areas that was approximately, I don't know, a foot tall, that allowed the moisture to be retained in the soil, the seeds to, the roots to plant, and just scalped it completely. And to me, that's a waste of our money as a soccer club. And I can show another picture here. The state of our soccer fields as seen by not only our club and our municipal citizens, but also the visiting clubs.
These are located at the new park?
Yes,
Or
Monroeville Park
at
East.
the Monroeville East?
Yes. And I'm really not here to complain too much, other than we need to communicate and I believe cooperate more with Parks and Rec and not be necessarily pushed into a corner and said we can't help. We tried to go to them earlier this year and say we would be more than willing to have work parties to help do whatever need be. And we're told, we'll do it, just give us the money, we'll seed. They were even offering to reseed and refertilize a second time. And as far as I know, that never happened. And as you can see in these pictures, any new grass that was planted there gets scalped, and if you're familiar with it, the clods of grass on top of the brand new grass, it's dead again. So I'm not saying we're wasting $4,000 of our money, which we do not have a lot of, but we're not getting our full value out of that money. And secondly, I would have personally picked up a rake and raked these up into piles off to the side, but I don't want a grievance filed against me. So my suggestion is that we can communicate. I mean, the park's a beautiful park. The soccer fields are a great attribute, and there's a lot of communications coming in that other tournaments and clubs want to use our fields. It's going to bring in a lot of good publicity for Monroeville. And if we're dealing with fields that look like this and or dirt spotted everywhere all over the place, it's not going to be good publicity. They're not going to come back. They're investing money into our club and into the park. So all I'm saying is I think this needs to be remedied through communication and working together. I know Parks and Rec is very busy, but that's why we're offering any help we can do through communication with Monroeville Soccer Club to fix the situation.
You wanted to say something, sir?
Just as a summary, in these pictures, they
Here's
only tell part of it, but
more clumps.
at any given hour up at the Monroeville soccer fields, there's 300 to 500 people. So what this causes us to do is cordon off a field that's unacceptable for play, or kids, it shouldn't be played on. Sometimes it presents a safety issue. So it's just an ineffective use of space. And as Caleb said, it's more than just
Sir,
a
can
couple
you
of
go near the
soccer.
microphone, please?
Sure.
I'm having a hard time hearing you.
Sorry about that.
Thank you.
And as Caleb said, this isn't just a group of soccer dads, this is a ton of folks that want to have tournaments, and you go from 300 to 500 people up to 1,500 people. It affects the commissary, the concession stand, it can start to affect our budget. And again, if we could just get a contact with Parks and Rec, they would be a little more willing to work with us.
Well, we have a,
Yeah, Nick
Sure.
works with our Parks and Rec.
yeah, I sit on there, I'm a liaison to the board, and we actually have a meeting this coming Monday. So I'll bring this up at the board and kind of see, what happened, or what was, whether it was a reason for the way it was handled, or if it was just a lack of good judgment at the time.
Sure.
Or if it's, another outside, unfortunately, the rain's been really impacting a lot of different things.
Sure.
But we'll definitely bring it up at Monday's meeting and try to get some answers. So we have then a council meeting on Tuesday, so hopefully I can get some answers for Tuesday's meeting here.
Much
Would it
obliged.
be appropriate to maybe have one representative from the club be there?
Well, one thing that the Parks and Recreation Parks Advisory Board has been trying to do, or wants to do long-term, is have their meetings with the members that are on that board on a monthly basis, and then perhaps maybe, quarterly or bi-monthly, or maybe in certain circumstances, have a separate meeting for these issues where we bring in like board members from either baseball or soccer to discuss specifically, those issues. So
Right.
that's something else I'll bring up on Monday's meeting, but hopefully we'll get some answers before Tuesday for you.
Please.
Or if I could get some contact info from you guys.
Sure.
That we could just be in touch that way.
Much obliged.
Okay?
Thanks again.
Why wouldn't these guys be allowed to help rake? If they wanted to help rake their own field out that they're using?
It's the union contracts.
Well, I don't know about that. My experience was, in the past, that, I'm going to use baseball for an example. The coaches and that would come in and hook up to their four-wheel drives, hook up to our drags, and destroy the fields.
Sure.
So I know that we stopped them from doing that. As far as you guys going out and raking some grass, I don't know that there'd be an issue, a union issue there.
Did someone tell
'Cause
you
we
there
do
was
have-
an issue? Because you're the one that stated
Yes,
that.
I was actually at the fields I believe it was last year, trying to basically fill in one of the dirt holes that was approximately this deep where our goalies stand. Not only is it aesthetically ugly, but it's also dangerous for the kids.
Right.
And you were stopped?
And I was told through a member who saw me that a grievance could be filed against me.
What do you mean a member? What does that mean?
Another soccer member.
It would be fought not against you, it'd be against.
Well,
us.
whoever it may be. I'm not here to get anyone in trouble, including Monroeville Soccer
I
Club.
really
That's the
don't
last thing I
understand
wanna
that
do.
because we have volunteers that'll come build a pavilion.
And it may
We've
be,
had organizations that have built pavilions in our parks. We've worked with volunteers all throughout my
Yeah,
career.
they just finished Hawkeye.
Let us get a better answer for you.
Yeah, we have to get a better,
okay, and maybe this is just a miscommunication, but
that's what it sounds
by
like.
all means,
Because I could tell
we
you.
have the personnel and the want to do some better things with our fields. And we're not going to ruin our fields. I mean, that's the club's livelihood. So
Right.
we're only going to do things that are positive and, make the
Beneficial.
park and beneficial.
Okay.
So
I get it. I mean, I play soccer. I wouldn't want
Yeah.
to play on that field. I get it. It changes the whole scope of the game. I mean, you can't do that. And
But
if you're
again,
investing your own money into it, we need to help this.
We do have to look at the way the weather's been. I'm having a hard time keeping my yard
Well,
in
this
order.
was back in spring.
Okay.
This is not recent. This was during the spring season. We roped off all the goal mouths that we had talked to Parks and Rec about, and they did allow it to grow. But after 3 months, somewhere around that time, we showed up to the field and it was scalped and the clumps of grass were laying right on top of the brand-new grass.
When are those pictures from?
The spring season.
So what's it look like right now?
Right now, we were there last night, it was very soppy wet, obviously, from the rain,
Right.
but
It- That's what I want to know. Has it, because
There are
with all
still
this rain,
spots.
everything's growing so good.
it's absolutely gotten better, but not, I don't believe, where it should be as a whole. There's still spots where we planted grass, and it was never gone back over. And that's where I'm saying if we communicated, we could keep an eye on that and plant some grass and some topsoil and fertilizer if we needed to.
And maybe it's not Parks and Rec that they need to talk to. Wouldn't that
Well-
be?
Well, it's
Our
public, it's
maintenance.
Public Works and.
It's
Public
our
Works
maintenance
and
It's actually the.
Yeah, because I don't know if
Community Park.
Parks and Rec, that's not within, I
Well,
know they're in
Parks and
the
Rec would
park,
be the-
but is that within their purview or is that?
They'd be the
Public Works?
in-between. Well, at the Recreation Parks Advisory Board, actually, the Parks and Rec will be there, but also Mike Adams, who's the Superintendent of Public Works, he's there
Okay.
in attendance at the meetings as well, so.
So that could
We'll get this all
cover
figured
Because
out.
that could be where the
bases.
miscommunication
Yeah.
Say,
starts.
the
Might have
big,
been
the big
longer.
thing, obvious in all of this is communication, and
Right.
that's partly our fault as well. But I think we need to be in much better constant communication about the field conditions and/or any other situations that come along, the responsibilities, who's responsible for what. And I think, yeah, the situation can be resolved pretty easily.
Great.
I think we're on the right foot.
All right, thank you for having us.
Gentlemen, thank you.
Thank you.